For 5 years of marriage, Rachel Vance was hailed by everyone as the perfect wife, except for being a workaholic. Until that day, during a company team building event playing Truth or Dare, the new intern insisted on dragging me into a game of pretending to be drunk and calling our partners for help. Rachel didn't even pick up my call. After a few rings, she hung up, leaving me with a single text, busy. But in the very next moment, I'm coming to get you right now. That familiar voice came from the manipulative intern's phone. I looked up and met his provocative gaze. I thought to myself, this marriage should end. I had decided to join the team-building event at the last minute. After playing all day, I was exhausted. I had planned to go home and rest after dinner, but a guy suddenly squeezed in next to me. Just as I was about to scoot over, someone warned him, "Tyler, this is Vice President Sterling. Don't crowd Mr. Sterling." I smiled. "It's fine. We're out having fun, no rank here. Everyone just relax." The guy named Tyler had already sat down beside me. He was handsome. When he smiled, his eyes were exceptionally bright, clean, and clear, truly likable. I asked him with a smile, "You're new?" Tyler extended his hand toward me. "I'm the new intern. I'm only 21. I nodded. Tyler suddenly said, "Let's play Truth or Dare. VP Sterling, let's show everyone how it's done." Without waiting for me to speak, he grabbed my phone from the table and handed it to me, raising an eyebrow slightly. "Dare. You game, Mr. Sterling?" I kind of appreciated his fearless, youthful energy. Plus, everyone was watching, so I didn't want to be a buzzkill. I took the phone. "How do we play?" We both pretend to be drunk and call our partners to come pick us up. Tyler was eager to try, his voice carrying a vibrant, aggressive energy. I've dealt with enough people to accurately and sensitively pick out a trace of smugness and provocation in that energy. Had the rumors about Gen Z trying to fix the workplace reached my company? I wasn't angry, I actually found it a bit funny. I found Rachel's number and dialed. Since it was a dare, I put it on speaker. People around us started teasing. "Tyler, playing this game with Mr. Sterling is just asking to be humiliated. You haven't met President Vance yet, have you? She's Mr. Sterling's wife, the absolute picture-perfect, devoted wife. Forget pretending to be drunk, even if nothing was wrong. One call from Mr. Sterling and President Vance would drop everything to come over." While they were talking, the busy signal kept beeping on my phone. The call didn't go through. She hung up. Immediately after, I received a message from Rachel with a single word, "Busy." I laughed. "I lose. My turn." Tyler's voice pitched up slightly. Several people were signaling him with their eyes not to make the call. But Tyler was young, he didn't know the unspoken rules of the workplace or basic social cues. The call connected. Tyler's voice sounded again, becoming intimate and soft. "I'm drunk. Will you come pick me up, please?" After he finished, he turned his head, meeting my gaze. His chin lifted slightly, brow raised, a textbook expression of provocation. I realized this Tyler kid seemed to be targeting me, but I didn't know where this hostility was coming from. I hadn't met him before, and aside from group events, he shouldn't have any chance to see me in the future. The next second, a woman's voice came from Tyler's phone. "I'm coming to get you right now." The gentle voice made my body stiffen. It was like walking down the street minding your own business and having a bucket of ice water dumped on you for no reason. I knew that voice better than anyone. It was my wife, Rachel Vance. "Okay, I'll wait for you." Tyler hung up and looked at me again. The smugness and provocation in his eyes and brows were now fully on display, without a shred of concealment. Like a general who had just won a war. I instantly understood where the hostility came from. Oh, so he wasn't here to disrupt the workplace, he was here to disrupt my marriage. In that moment, I found it both infuriating and funny. Regarding the fact that Rachel ignored my call but responded to another man's call on demand, I hadn't even had time to feel the anger I should have. I glanced at Tyler's phone screen and reminded him with a smile, "You forgot to send your partner the address." I deliberately emphasized the word partner. Tyler looked at me like I was an idiot and smiled. "Right. Thanks for the reminder. I'll send her the location now." Right in front of me, He grinningly found Rachel's contact and sent the location. He even deliberately showed me how he had saved Rachel's name. My queen. People present were already looking at Tyler with strange expressions. Even if they didn't catch his targeting and provocation toward me, his insistence on beating his boss's boss just made him look like he had low EQ and no social skills. Even without me saying anything, this kid was going to have a hard time in the company. Of course, there was one prerequisite: that his partner didn't back him up. The anger in my heart began to ignite in that moment, burning hotter and hotter. About 40 minutes later, the door to the private room opened. Tyler, who had been chatting and laughing to make his presence known, looked up, his eyes lighting up. The others saw who it was and stood up one by one. Someone laughed and said, "Who said Mr. Sterling lost? Look, didn't President Vance come to pick him up? Mr. Sterling just didn't want to embarrass us. If he played for real, who could beat him? President Vance, you were still worried about Mr. Sterling, weren't you?" Rachel nodded to everyone with a gentle, moving smile. She walked straight to my side, her mild voice mixed with tenderness and concern, just like when she usually spoke to me. "How much did you drink?" She helped me up and said to the group, "Justin has a sensitive stomach. He'll call it a night here. I'm taking him home. You guys carry on. Have fun. President Vance will have a blast. Mr. Sterling, get some rest." Haha. President Vance is so heartbroken over him. Do we need to explain ourselves? Don't worry, President Vance. Mr. Sterling didn't drink much. He was actually playing truth or dare with us. Tyler, you lost. Drink up, drink up. I stood up and looked down at Tyler. He was staring at Rachel with a wronged expression, looking like a little victim, pitiful and sad. Couldn't help but chuckle. It's just a game, don't take it seriously. You keep playing? Or should we take you with us and drop you off? Tyler pursed his lips, withdrew his gaze from Rachel's face, and said stubbornly, "No need. I can get back myself. A loss is a loss. I accept the penalty." He grabbed the wine glass in front of him and downed it in one go. Then he poured himself another cup. "I'll punish myself with 3 cups. I turned my head slightly to look at Rachel beside me. Tyler was clearly throwing a tantrum, but Rachel didn't seem to even glance at him. From the moment she entered and found me here, her gaze had been fixed on me. Meeting my eyes, Rachel remained gentle. "Let's go." I said goodbye to everyone and left directly. Rachel picked up my bag and followed behind me. We drove home in silence. Once inside, Rachel explained, "Tyler is my university mentor's son. He's interning at the company. My mentor asked me to look after him. I took off my shoes and started walking upstairs. Let someone else look after him." "Rachel, okay. Oh, by the way," I stopped on the first step, turning to look down at Rachel from above. "Tyler said you were his partner. He also has you saved as my queen." I looked straight into Rachel's eyes. "How far has it gone with him?" Rachel's face turned cold inch by inch. "Don't talk nonsense. I'm only looking after him because he's my mentor's son. Then make it clear to him. Don't give him the illusion that he can interfere in our marriage. He's young and ignorant, but Rachel, you should understand adult boundaries." I turned and went upstairs, heading straight into the bathroom. Lying in bed with the lights off, Rachel hugged me from behind. "Are you still angry?" Her warm hand slipped under the hem of my pajamas, resting on my abdomen. "I'm sorry I made you uncomfortable," she explained. "I only went to pick him up because he's young and new to the workforce. I was afraid if something actually happened to him, I couldn't answer to my mentor. But you're different. You're Justin Sterling. You're so strong you would never let anything happen to yourself. I know that. Strong. That was indeed my goal, to be a powerful and omnipotent person. But in that moment, the softest part of my heart suddenly twitched. I turned around and hugged her. "Rachel, I'm human too. I have times when I'm fragile and soft. I just hoped that when I was tired and wanted to relax, the person accompanying me would be her, my wife, Rachel. Because I loved her." Rachel held me tighter. "I know. There won't be a next time. Tomorrow I'll make it clear to him and have him apologize to you." I nodded. "Okay." The next morning, Shortly after I returned to my office from a meeting, Rachel brought Tyler over. "Tyler," Rachel said in a deep voice, "apologize to your brother-in-law." Tyler walked up to me with a grin, his voice clear and bright. "I'm sorry, brother-in-law. Last night was my bad. Be the bigger man and don't hold a grudge against me, okay? I'm young and just like to talk nonsense. Just chalk it up to youthful arrogance, all right, brother-in-law?" Rachel reminded him, "Change the contact name." Tyler immediately took out his phone and, right in front of me, changed Rachel's name to Sister Rachel. "Look, brother-in-law, I changed it. Don't let it happen again," Rachel said, then added, "You go get busy." "No way." Tyler walked up to my side. "I still have so much to say to my brother-in-law. This guy talk, you wouldn't fit in. You go out first." Rachel frowned slightly. Tyler let go of my arm, straightened up, then slung his arm around my shoulder. "What? Are you afraid I'll bully my brother-in-law? Am I that scary? Besides, my brother-in-law looks like a tough guy, and he's years older than me. How would I dare bully my elder? Hurry up and go out." Just then, Rachel's phone rang. She was busy every day. She said something to me, gave Tyler a heavy look, and left. As soon as the door closed, Tyler circled around to sit opposite me, looking around my office. "This office is huge. Career man, huh?" A trace of disgust surged in my heart. I said coldly, "I'm busy. Get out." Tyler suddenly said, "I like Sister Rachel." I didn't even look up. "I know, but I'm busy right now. Get out." Tyler didn't expect me to say that. After a pause, he asked, "I said I like Sister Rachel and you're this calm?" I was truly speechless and amused. "Because you're not the first one trying to steal my wife. A woman like Rachel, even married, would always have men lining up one after another. Of course, there were plenty of women who wanted to be my mistress, too. Rachel and I both knew this, but in our 5 years of marriage, our hearts had always been in the same place, our directions aligned. Whether it was me or Rachel, we both saw each other's dedication and commitment to this marriage. But Tyler seemed different from those men in the past. He thought so too. "You don't think I'm like those other guys, do you?" He chuckled, still carrying that vibrant arrogance unique to a newborn calf. "Justin Sterling, I'm different from them. Let's make a bet. 3 months. I can definitely win Sister Rachel over. If I lose, I'll leave here and never see Sister Rachel again. But if you lose, you have to divorce Sister Rachel and let me have her." He raised an eyebrow at me. "Do you dare?" I smiled, kindly reminding him, "Your competition isn't me. It's the other guys trying to steal her." Tyler lifted his chin slightly. "Sister Rachel doesn't like them." "Does she like you?" "She just doesn't like me yet," Tyler vowed. "That's why I'm asking you for 3 months. Suit yourself." I lowered my head and went back to work, ignoring him. "Just you wait and see." Tyler scoffed and walked out. The flame of anger in my heart ignited again. I threw aside the file in my hand. What is Rachel doing? She can't even handle a small matter like this. I dialed the internal line to tell my assistant, Jesse, "In the future, don't let that Tyler come up here again." Jesse agreed, then explained he's just an intern, he didn't have clearance to come up anyway. President Vance brought him up today. In the afternoon, Jesse suddenly came in to tell me, "Mr. Sterling, President Vance threw a huge temper tantrum in the project department." I stood up. "What happened?" A look of hesitation flashed across Jesse's face before she finally said, "Mr. Sterling, you'd better go see for yourself." As I walked out, I heard her mutter under her breath, "It's all because of that Tyler." I glanced at her, seeing she still looked like she wanted to say something but stopped herself. "If you want to say something, just say it." Jessie bit her lower lip. "Mr. Sterling, honestly, I could tell. Last night at the dinner, that call from Tyler was to President Vance." She hesitated again. "Actually, a lot of people figured it out." My chest felt tight. My first reaction wasn't anger, but embarrassment. Rachel had to resolve this perfectly. After all, I was being forced to lose face alongside her. Arriving at the project department, I heard Rachel's icy voice from a distance. "Don't let me see this kind of thing happen again, or you can all pack up and leave." Yes, Rachel was extremely angry. but she would never allow herself to act out of control. She never yelled, no matter how angry she was. Power is shown through presence, not volume. I walked in and saw Tyler standing behind Rachel, gently tugging at her sleeve. "Sister Rachel, don't be mad. I'm fine. Besides, they wouldn't bully me for no reason, right?" Rachel turned to look at Tyler, and in the next second, her gaze landed on me. She walked up to me with a dark face, looked at me coldly, and announced to everyone, "From now on, Tyler is my special assistant. Tyler, move your things to the top floor." Oh, Tyler responded and went to pack his things. Rachel withdrew her gaze and turned slowly, saying coldly, "Did you all understand what I just said?" The entire department was standing there, heads bowed. "Understood. Understood, President Vance." Tyler quickly packed his desk and came to Rachel's side. "Sister Rachel, let's go up." Rachel didn't look at him, her ghostly gaze fell on my face again. "You go up first." That was to Tyler. "Come to my office. I have something to say to you." That was to me. I looked away and addressed the department. "It's fine. Everyone get back to work." But with Rachel there, no one dared to sit down. They were all waiting for Rachel to speak. I frowned. "Sit down. Continue your work." Hearing this, the crowd finally sat down. "I'm waiting for the proposal from Cinda," I told the department manager. After speaking, I turned and walked out. Rachel followed right behind me. Once we were in my office, she closed the door and spoke. "I told you Tyler is just my mentor's son. I'm looking after him because of my mentor. Justin, there is no need for you to make things difficult for a kid just entering the real world over something that hasn't even happened." I sat in my chair and asked coldly, "Tell me, how did I make things difficult for him?" Rachel walked up to me in a few steps but didn't sit in the chair opposite me. "If it wasn't on your instructions, why would people in the project department bully an intern?" I could hear her heavy breathing. "The company absolutely does not tolerate workplace bullying, especially when the ringleader is you." She exhaled. "This is the first time. You are the vice president and my husband, so of course I have to save you some face." She tapped the table 3 times with her index finger, a gesture of warning. "But not next time." I felt like I couldn't breathe, yet I laughed. "What do you mean, not next time? If I continue to bully him, do you plan to beat me up? Or divorce me?" "Justin." "Rachel Vance," I interrupted her. "First, I didn't instruct anyone to do any bullying. Second, it was Tyler who publicly claimed he was calling his partner at the dinner, and you answered the phone. The entire department heard it. They were standing up for me. You throwing a tantrum just now was enough. Don't harass them anymore." I leaned back in my chair. "You accusing me without investigation, this is also the first time." I looked straight into her eyes and threw her words back at her. "Not next time. Justin, I don't like Tyler being your special assistant." I stopped there and didn't continue. Rachel wanted to say something more, but I cut her off directly. "Get out."
I'm busse.
Rachel looked at me silently for a while, turned around, and walked out. My chest was heaving violently. For the first time in my life, I tasted the flavor of pure rage. But I absolutely wasn't angry because of Tyler. Rachel, however, was angry at me because of Tyler. I couldn't read a single word of the documents on my desk. I really hated this feeling. This matter had to have a complete conclusion, and it came back to those 3 words. Not next time. Otherwise, I absolutely would not continue living like this with Rachel. I, Justin Sterling, would never let myself suffer the slightest grievance. No matter how much I loved that woman, but it seemed Rachel was no longer worth my love. This thought suddenly popped up from the bottom of my heart. It was a bit scary. I was also a little resistant to it. I really wished none of this had happened. A while later, the office door was rudely pushed open. Tyler rushed in with red eyes. "Justin Sterling, what right do you have to forbid me from being Sister Rachel's special assistant? Are you that afraid of me? It was clearly you who told them to bully me." I looked at Rachel, who came in behind him, and said sternly, "Rachel, can you not even handle such a small thing now? At the very least, he works for you now. He has no authority to barge into my office. I shouldn't have to teach him basic manners for you, right? Get him out. Don't disturb my work." Rachel's face went completely cold. It was the first time she looked at me with such a chilling gaze. "Tyler, let's go. You need to get back to work." She gave me one last look, coldly withdrew her gaze, and turned to leave. Tyler's eyes were still red, but he raised his eyebrows triumphantly, a victorious expression on his face. Suddenly he said, "Since my brother-in-law doesn't like me, I'll just leave then." Rachel's cold voice came through. "You are my special assistant. You don't need other people to like you." "Sister Rachel, don't say that. I know I've caused trouble for you and brother-in-law. I'll just go." He turned and ran out quickly. Rachel turned to look at me from outside the door. I met her gaze. "Jesse, close the door." Jesse immediately came over and closed the door, cutting off eye contact between Rachel and me. The anger in my heart burned fiercer. Rachel like this was indeed no longer worth my love. I was no longer afraid, nor resistant to the idea. I picked up my phone and called my personal lawyer. That night, Rachel didn't come home. This was the first time in our 5 years of marriage, aside from business trips, that she hadn't come home. I lay in bed alone, tossing and turning, unable to sleep. A little hurt, a little sad, but mostly angry and resentful. What gave Rachel the right to make me suffer such a grievance? Who does she think she is? She's just a wife. What qualifies her to mistreat me? A wife, if this one doesn't work, I'll get another. Worst case, I just won't have a wife. It's not a big deal. I forced myself to lie still and close my eyes. Sleep, but I still didn't sleep well. When I got up the next morning, looking at my gloomy face in the mirror, I loathed Rachel even more. But I still had to go to work. There were many things at the company waiting for me to handle. I groomed myself meticulously and arrived at the company looking sharp and polished. I didn't see Rachel until the meeting. Her face was still dark. I could tell she was in a bad mood. I just glanced at her once and sat down in my seat. When the meeting ended, I stood up and left immediately. From start to finish, Rachel and I didn't say a word to each other. At noon, when Jessie ordered lunch for me, she said, "Mr. Sterling, everyone is saying, I know." Nothing more than saying the husband and wife were at odds. I could guess. Of course, this had an impact on the company, but I didn't care. This was the Vance Group anyway. I only came over after marrying Rachel. Her mother passed away, and her father was in poor health. She was an only child like me. My parents were in good health, and their company didn't need me to take over yet, so I came here. It was also the Vance family's wish. Regarding shares, the two companies were naturally intertwined, but I only held 3% of Vance Group's shares. Divorce, sell it, and buy back the 3% of Sterling Corp shares Rachel held. It wasn't that complicated. As for whether the two companies would continue to cooperate in the future, I had no objections. Rachel and I were just incompatible in life. We should still be compatible in business. Thinking this way, I felt much more relaxed. However, the lawyer needed some time to organize the assets under mine and Rachel's names. Of course, I wasn't in a hurry. To me, Rachel was now just a business partner. In the afternoon, I suddenly received a call from a strange number. It turned out to be Rachel's mentor, Tyler's father, Professor Sloan. He said his son had caused me some trouble over the past few days and invited Rachel and me over for dinner tonight. I agreed. The father is responsible for the son's misconduct. Professor Sloan definitely should apologize to me in person. At 5 o'clock sharp, Rachel knocked on my office door. "Let's go." I packed up briefly, grabbed my bag, and walked out. In the car, I kept looking out the window. Rachel didn't speak to me either. I thought she must have already fallen for Tyler. Otherwise, she absolutely wouldn't give me the cold shoulder like this. It hurt, certainly. But for me, the stronger emotion was a refusal to lose. I've had a competitive nature since I was a child, so in this aspect, I absolutely couldn't be beaten down. The car stopped. I opened the door and got out myself. This time, I followed behind Rachel. Jessie was reporting work to me on my phone, so I walked with my head down, looking at the screen. Rachel suddenly steadied me. "Be careful." She pursed her lips. "Don't work after hours." I didn't respond. I finished talking to Jessie before putting my phone away. Rachel didn't say anything else either. Arriving at Tyler's home, Tyler opened the door. Seeing Rachel, he lowered his head like a wrong child. Professor Sloan and his wife were sitting on the sofa. Rachel is here. Justin, please sit. Rachel handed over the gift. The housekeeper had already prepared dinner. At the dining table, Professor Sloan said to me, Justin, our Tyler has been spoiled by me. He really is a bit ignorant. Don't take it to heart. I spoke with a smile. Someone in Mr. Sloan's situation actually isn't suited for work. I think Mr. Sloan is qualified to just live off his parents. It'd be better to let him stay home, free and carefree. The workplace has a lot of resentment right now. No one out there is going to spoil him. Justin. Rachel called my name in a deep voice, her tone carrying a warning.
I smilte her.
I'm doing this for your mentor and his wife's own good. Professor Sloan chuckled softly. Justin. My name is Justin Sterling. My smile didn't change. I have a bit of a serious issue with class consciousness. Maybe because I am capital myself. Plus, I was spoiled by my parents since I was little. They never let me suffer even a bit of grievance. So I developed a habit where I can't stand people pulling rank on me. Justin Sterling. I ignored Rachel's warning and continued to Professor Sloan. To be honest, I thought you invited me to dinner today to apologize on behalf of your son. After all, a father is responsible for his son's education. Your son wants to steal my wife. Justin, that's enough, Rachel said in a low voice. Of course, it's not entirely your son's fault. I spread my hands and pointed to Rachel beside me. This one is more at fault. I pushed back my chair and stood up. I won't be eating the food. It's absolutely not disrespect to you. I'm just really not used to eating this stuff. You guys continue. I smiled kindly, and while the Sloan family's faces turned green, I grabbed my bag and left. Rachel caught up with me in the elevator. She said sternly, Justin Sterling, you are too much. I told you, Tyler and I don't have that kind of relationship. If you don't have that kind of relationship, why didn't you come home last night? Why didn't you say a word to me on the way here? Rachel enunciated every word. That was because you did something wrong. What did I do wrong? I asked with interest, composing myself. Accusing you of having an affair? Rachel, don't tell me you can't tell Tyler is into you. If you can't tell, check the surveillance in my office. After you left that day, he told me personally that he likes you and wants to make a bet with me. I smiled and continued, you not coming home, not talking to me, you wanted to teach me a lesson? Rachel, am I important to you? Or are your mentor and his son important to you? I dare not say I've never done anything wrong, but regarding Tyler, I did nothing wrong. Because from the beginning, he provoked me first. As my wife, regardless of whether I was right or wrong, you should have stood unconditionally on my side. Instead of thinking you're being fair by standing in the middle of the scale. Because the Sloan family and I are not balanced to begin with, you should tilt toward me. Rachel suddenly laughed. So? You just want me to indulge you unconditionally? Justin, you aren't a little boy anymore. Can you stop being so willful? Even if I am your wife, I won't indulge you unconditionally. That's not my principle in life. I shrugged indifferently. It doesn't matter. I don't force it. If she wasn't willing to indulge me unconditionally, plenty of people were. Even if there was no one else, I would indulge myself. The elevator doors opened, and I walked out quickly. The driver was still waiting below. Seeing me come out without intending to get in the car, he called out to me. I ignored him. Rachel's cool voice came from behind. Leave him be. Let him walk. I went directly back to my own home. My parents knew me best. Seeing my face, they asked, "Fought with Rachel?" My dad has a big heart, he laughed out loud. Rachel actually fights? That's rare. What did you fight about? Tell your mom and me. I sat on the sofa and crossed my legs, completely dropping the aura I carried outside. Home is for relaxing. There was nothing to hide from my parents, and I wasn't the type to only report good news. I reported everything. After listening to the whole story, my parents both said it was Rachel's fault. I really didn't expect Rachel to be so confused, my dad said gravely, then asked my mom, "Is this that 7-year itch thing?" Young people nowadays aren't like in our time, none of them have persistence. I didn't like hearing that, But before I could speak, my mom spoke up. Justin is younger than her. How come Justin has persistence? Cheating is cheating, no need to find excuses. Even if it's not physical cheating, her heart is completely not with Justin anymore. My dad coughed lightly, reminding my mom, Justin hasn't said what he thinks yet. I was direct. I want a divorce. I've already spoken to a lawyer. My parents' faces darkened. Have you decided? Justin, Mom and Dad don't want you to be mistreated, but we also don't want you to act impulsively. Absolutely not. My tone was firm. I want a divorce. I don't love Rachel anymore. I'm a person who gets turned off quickly, especially in relationships. I have severe hygiene standards, both physically and mentally. My dad nodded. In that case, leave it to me. Dad, don't go to her. I spoke very fast, paused, and then continued. I've decided to divorce. If you go talk to her, it'll seem like I can't bear to leave her. My dad snorted. Who said I was going to find her? I pursed my lips. Anyway, don't go to her. My dad. Don't worry. I know what I'm doing. I rubbed my stomach. I haven't eaten yet. Dinner was ready at home. I ate with my parents and went upstairs to my room. I still didn't sleep well that night. But the next day, I went to the company full of energy. Jessie told me, Mr. Sterling, President Vance went on a business trip yesterday. She didn't say when she'd be back. I responded indifferently. So she still didn't go home last night. Come back or don't, I don't care. On the third day of Rachel's business trip, Tyler asked to meet me. I refused directly, but he was thick-skinned and came to the company to wait for me. I actually wanted to hear what he had to say. Tyler told me with a smug face, Sister Rachel went on a business trip. She said she won't be back for half a month. Actually, she isn't on a business trip, she wants to separate from you. Justin Sterling, you lose. According to the bet, you should divorce Sister Rachel and give her to me. From beginning to end, the person I was most angry at was Rachel. But Tyler really was pushing his luck. This is between Rachel and me. Stay out of it, I warned coldly. Tyler raised an eyebrow. You aren't anyone to me, why should I listen to you? He really hasn't been beaten down by society at all. I chuckled. Have you heard the saying? When gods fight, mortals suffer. I said, this is between Rachel and me. Tyler looked even more smug. Even if you two are gods, if I, a mortal, can start a war between you two, that's my talent. I looked at him silently for a while, taking in all the smugness in his expression, then nodded. Okay. If he insisted on inserting himself, naturally I wouldn't stop him. As long as he didn't regret it. After parting with Tyler, I returned to the company and made a call, asking someone to investigate a person for me. Nothing to hide, I was investigating Professor Sloan, Tyler's dad. The office door was pushed open, and a familiar yet unexpected figure walked in. What are you doing here? Did you have an appointment to just walk in? Brody had a signature cheeky grin on his face. But Uncle Sterling personally sent me here. Who dares stop me? My dad? I was surprised. Where is he? Why did he send you? Brody sat on the corner of my desk. Uncle Sterling said I should come be your special assistant and told you to take good care of me. Anyway, you used to bring me along everywhere. Practice makes perfect. So that's what my dad meant by knowing what he was doing. I know everything, Brody patted his chest. Leave it to me. There's nothing I can't mess up. I'll definitely get you two divorced and piss her off halfway to death. I gave a dry laugh. Hey, I believe you have that talent. But Rachel is on a business trip and isn't at the company. Keep it down for a couple of days and don't annoy me. Brody scoffed. Ever since you married that woman named Vance, you started neglecting me. Now that you're finally getting divorced, I have to take back everything you owe me from the last 5 years. I rolled my eyes at him. Get out, don't bother me. My dad was right to find Brody. Brody really excelled at this kind of stuff. Within a few days, he was famous in the company. The group chats were full of news about him. Rachel, who was supposed to be back in half a month, returned after just 1 week. When she came to my office, Brody was slouching on the sofa playing a game. Rachel glanced at him and said deeply, "You go out first." Brody quit the game and came to my side. She's so scary, I'm afraid. I was a bit speechless too. Rachel's face was tight, looking like a volcano about to erupt. Justin, make him leave. I have words for you. I'm not leaving. Brody leaned closer to me. I'm Brother's special assistant now. Besides, Uncle Sterling put me by Brother's side so he could take care of me. Why are you talking to me with that attitude? I can't handle being mistreated. Rachel laughed. Justin, are you intentionally taking revenge on me? Do you know what they are saying in the company group chats? Brody tilted his head. Probably exactly like what they said about you and that Tyler, right? But they should know Brother. Brother isn't that kind of person. Rachel clearly didn't take Brody's words to heart. You first. I'm not joking with you. Brody dropped his usual slacker vibe, getting serious. He looked exceptionally deep. I like Justin. I've liked him since we were kids. Rachel, if I wasn't so young back then, too young to marry, do you think you would have had a chance to marry Justin? He walked up to Rachel. But now I'm an adult. I can get married. I'm telling you straight, I want to marry Justin. You two hurry up and divorce. Don't hold me up. Rachel suddenly raised her hand and swung a slap toward Brody's face. I got up and rushed over, but Brody had already caught Rachel's wrist. I pushed Rachel away. What are you doing? Rachel lost her usual gentleness, looking a bit violent. Didn't you hear what he said? I heard him. I smiled indifferently. But my dad said I have to look after him. So you can't touch him. You? Rachel realized again. So you are still taking revenge, right? But Justin, I have no relationship with Tyler. She looked at Brody, her eyes full of hostility. Brody didn't take her seriously at all. This guy relied on his family background, feared nothing in heaven or earth. He was a loose cannon. But I didn't want them fighting in my office. I patted Brody on the shoulder. You go out first. Okie dokie. Brody responded obediently, gave Rachel a provocative look, and walked out beaming. Rachel took a deep breath. Justin, let's talk properly. Tyler and I. Rachel, let's get a divorce. I didn't want to listen to Rachel's nonsense. I truly didn't love her anymore. Exhaustion spilled from Rachel's brows. Stop talking nonsense. I know you're angry about Tyler, but the lawyer is almost done organizing the assets under our names, I said. Then we can go get divorced. Rachel finally realized I wasn't talking about divorce out of momentary anger. I had contacted a lawyer long ago. She was in disbelief. Just because of such a small thing? A small thing? I scoffed. If it's a small thing, why did you try to hit someone just now? Rachel choked. Rachel, I know nothing happened between you and Tyler, but in handling this matter, you sided with Tyler. You made me suffer grievance, so I'm divorcing you. Is there something you don't understand? Rachel's tone softened a bit. Justin, I don't have a mother. My mentor treated me very well, just like my mother, but she is not your mother. I interrupted her again. If she were your mother, I wouldn't have married you either because she doesn't like me and I don't like her. What I want is for me to be the most important person in your heart, at least compared to outsiders. I did it. What about you, Rachel? Rachel's dark pupils trembled, and she couldn't speak. Maybe you still think this is a small matter. But Rachel, you gave me the cold shoulder for Tyler, lost your temper at me, embarrassed me in front of the entire project department and your driver, and deliberately ignored me during meetings. I took a deep breath, suppressing the anger in my heart. I know you wanted to teach me a lesson. No need for you to trouble yourself teaching me anymore. I won't play along. Panic appeared on Rachel's face. She wanted to come over and grab my hand. Justin Sterling, demand the best in everything. Back then, you were the best in my heart, so I married you. But now, you aren't the best in my heart anymore. In fact, to me, you are trash, worthless. So I want to divorce you. I dodged her hand, walked past her, and left with big strides. Rachel chased me to my house, but I refused to see her. My parents didn't give her a chance to explain either. No need to argue. Since your mentor and his son are so important to you, go live with them. My dad blocked the door. Also, Justin has people he needs to take care of too. How does that taste? Does it feel good? Rachel closed her eyes helplessly. Dad, I've learned my lesson. I really feel terrible. I've tasted the grievance Justin suffered. But Justin wants to divorce me. I don't want to. I can't bear to let go. Mom, Dad, I really love him. You should know how I've treated him all these years. I just made a tiny mistake. Help me persuade Justin. Give me another chance. A tiny mistake? Even now you think it's a tiny mistake? You helped an outsider bully Justin, and you call that a tiny mistake? My dad questioned angrily. Hearing this, I shut my bedroom door tight, cutting off all sound. Now I was truly awake. My parents were unconditionally on my side. Only they wouldn't stand with outsiders to bully me and embarrass me. For the next few days, I stopped going to the Vance group. Rachel didn't go to the company either. She kept guard at my door. I didn't go out to see her once. Until that day when I received a call. The things I wanted investigated had been found. Didn't Tyler say he wasn't afraid of God's fighting and insisted on sticking a foot in? I'd grant his wish. Professor Sloan was indeed good to Rachel, but that didn't rule out the reason being that she was a Vance. For ordinary students, he had a different attitude. Not only stealing students' academic results, but also harassing female students. They were intimidated by his status as a mentor and, in order to graduate smoothly, endured as much as they could. At this time, my identity played a big role. With the Sterling family stepping forward, those students no longer swallowed their anger. The incident fermented and blew up. The school dared not cover it up. At this time, Professor Sloan found me. When I went out, Rachel was still outside. But now, even looking at her annoyed me, let alone forgiving her. I drove directly past her and left, waiting for Professor Sloan at a private club. Professor Sloan had a favor to ask but was late. Another person begging me arrived first. It was Rachel. Justin, give me 10 minutes. Let me tell you what's in my heart. Okay? Her voice was urgent. I know, regarding Tyler, I really made you suffer a great grievance. I deserve to die, I admit it. Can you consider that this is my first offense and give me another chance? She sat down next to me and held my hand. Justin, we've been married for 5 years. You should know very well how I've treated you these 5 years. You also know I love you. I really, really love you. Regarding Tyler, I admit I could tell he liked me. I could tell from the start. The reason I still agreed to my mentor to look after him was that I was confident I could stick to my love for you and handle his admiration for me. But Justin, I'm just a normal person too. I also have moments where my mind wanders. But I guarantee this is the first time and the last time. Forgive me. Give me a chance to make it up to you and prove myself. Okay? Who told you normal people all have wandering minds? I haven't. After marrying Rachel, I was truly single-minded toward her. Even now, I still dare to face my own heart. I once loved her very much. It is once. Now, Rachel, I don't care at all whether you love me or not anymore, because I don't love you. Rachel's eyes reddened, and moisture pooled in them. She wasn't resigned. Just because my mind wandered for a moment, I nodded. Exactly, just because of that. I said, Justin Sterling, demand the best in everything. But now you aren't the best. There are plenty of women in this world. If one is flawed, I'll find the next one. Even if I can't find one, it doesn't matter. It's no big deal. Rachel, I want a divorce. I've made up my mind. The door to the private room suddenly opened. Professor Sloan came in with Tyler. Seeing Rachel, Professor Sloan's eyes lit up. Rachel, hurry and put in a good word for me with Justin. Don't let the school fire me. Tyler spoke reluctantly. Sister Rachel, you'd better control your husband. He can't be this willful over such a small thing. Rachel interrupted him coldly. Tyler Sloan, you have no right to talk about my husband. I stood up and said impatiently, you three talk. I'm leaving. Professor Sloan came over to block me. Justin, Mr. Sterling, talk to the school. I sneered. It was your son who said it himself. He isn't afraid of God's fighting. If a mortal like him can cause a war between gods, that's his talent. I looked at Tyler. Isn't that right? Tyler's face turned red. I walked past Professor Sloan and left directly. Rachel chased after me. From behind came the sound of a crisp slap, immediately followed by Professor Sloan's angry roar. Have I spoiled you too much? Rachel refused to divorce no matter what, even asking her dad to beg me. I had hardened my heart. I truly didn't love Rachel anymore. With the asset division complete, I sued for divorce directly. Rachel still wouldn't agree. In the end, I had people physically drag her into the courthouse. Rachel, if you don't sign, I'll have them hold your hand to sign it. The clerk stopped us. Hey, you can't do that. None of your business. Divorcing is my own affair. I divorce if I want to. Nobody can control me. The clerk's face was full of anger. State law dictates. Does state law dictate I can't force her to sign? I glared back. What kind of broken rule is that? I want a divorce. I looked coldly at Rachel. Hurry up and sign. I just don't love you anymore right now. If you keep stalling, it becomes disgusting. Do you insist on making me vomit at the sight of you before you'll sign? Rachel reached out a trembling hand to pick up the pen, lowered her head, her voice trembling too. Okay, I'll sign. She signed her name. Tears fell at that moment. What face does she have to cry? I hadn't even cried those nights I couldn't sleep, and now she's acting wronged. Good enough? I said to the clerk with no good attitude. The clerk didn't make a sound, stamped it, and gave me the divorce decree. I took the decree and walked away immediately. Rachel chased me out. Justin, she caught up, I still feel unwilling. Just because of one thing, we divorced. But I know I made you suffer grievance and broke your heart. That is my fault. But can you give me another chance to pursue you? Don't completely negate my feelings for you just because of one thing. We don't recycle garbage. Brody appeared out of nowhere. There are so many women in the world. Why should Justin give you 2 chances? You didn't know how to cherish it, that's your own fault. If Justin has to give you 2 chances, that's unfair to me. He linked arms with me. Let's go, Justin. Ignore her. A few days later, Rachel came to find me again, handing me a stock transfer agreement. This is the Sterling Corp stock. Giving it back to you. You don't need to give me that 3% of Vance Group stock, it was yours to begin with. I took the agreement and signed it. If she doesn't want it, she doesn't want it. Am I going to force it on her? She was the one who did wrong, it's only right I keep the Vance Group shares. All right, you can go. I waved my hand in disgust. I won't see you out. Rachel looked at me silently for a while, then went out. Walking to the door, she stopped again and told me Professor Sloan was fired. Tyler didn't pass his internship, I made him leave. In the future, I won't see them again. Seeing I ignored her, Rachel finally left. Jesse, who had returned to Sterling Corp with me, came in. President, Rachel Vance has left. I responded faintly. Don't let her in again in the future. Meeting by chance in public is fine. But on my turf, I won't let Rachel appear again. Unfaithful once, never used again. Feelings are the same. Anyway, there are plenty of women in the world. If there are feelings, I can have a serious relationship. If no feelings, then just play around. But whether serious or playing, Rachel has no chance. Because she is no longer the best. And I, Justin Sterling, only want the best.